Hey everybody, 'tis I, the Great Stone Tablet. Today I will talk about everyone's universally loved series antagonist of Naruto Shippuden, Kaguya Otsutsuki. Now this is actually a pretty tough video for me to make in terms of script writing at least. Kaguya, in all seriousness, is a very boring character. She has some cool and useful abilities, but she isn't really interesting to talk about. Luckily, I don't have to talk about her personality and character much, as I'll mostly talk about how strong she is, or only, using her techniques and whatnot. Do bear in mind I will exclusively be talking about the canon showings that were seen in the manga first, so I won't be going over the filler arc from the anime. Anything canon from the anime, but it'll probably be manga stuff. Anyway, let's get on with it. First off, though, I need to talk about Kaguya's chakra, since it is the power source of Naruto characters, and she's kind of like the goddess of Naruto. Kaguya was first formally introduced when Madara was betrayed by Black Zetsu and forced to absorb ludicrous amounts of chakra to revive her. So much chakra, in fact, that Naruto made the statement that it was far beyond even the Ten Tails. That is insane. Just to paint a picture, let me briefly explain how much chakra the Ten Tails has. In its first form, it could casually wipe the surface of the planet, as well as, and I quote, swallow oceans, split the land, and carry mountains. Splitting lands and generally surface wiping is a pretty high continental feat. In its second form, its chakra capacity is comparable to a small planet. Do bear in mind that it transforms like 2 or 3 more times before Obito absorbs it, not to mention Madara creates a more complete version of the Ten Tails when he becomes the Jinchuriki. Anyway, so even if we mega lowball and say the Ten Tails final form, the Shinju, is just like small planetary plus in chakra capacity, Madara was still being to absorb that on top of him having the Ten Tails already and his own power. That would at least be a 2 times boost above the Madara who was already casually fighting Team 7 with both of his Rinnegan. Hell, once Kaguya finally emerges, Sasuke points out how her chakra is on a whole nother level compared to Madara's, and he is surprised someone of her caliber could even exist. Now that's out of the way, let me talk a bit about her various techniques and their uses. Ame no Minaka is a technique that, as far as we know, is exclusive to Kaguya and her third eye, the Rinne Sharingan. With it, she can teleport herself and anybody within a certain range to another dimension in a literal instant. When they are warped to an alternate dimension, they will be positioned in the same places they were the instant before, almost like they were lifted up and carefully placed into the new dimension as they were all in an instant. However, there is an alternate way to travel through dimensions, which is mostly exclusive to Kaguya, called Yomotsu Hirasaka. With it, she creates these portal or rift things in space and can travel anywhere with them, either to another dimension or to different places in the current dimension. She can control their size to make them big enough for her whole body to fit in, or small enough for only one arm to slip through for attacks. It is also implied that traveling from one end of the rift to the other is instantaneous, as are portals from the titular game Portal. Kaguya was able to catch Sasuke off guard with this move, and is also able to throw him into a dimension that she was not in. Keep in mind that Sasuke has faster than light travel in combat, so this is a massively impressive speed feat, which is her grabbing him. One last thing, though, it's never fully explained. At one point while in the ice dimension, she hid inside her rift, and when it closed, she was shown the ability to control the environment itself. Naruto states that she has merged with nature. Whether that is possible with all her dimensions is unknown to me, but it is worth pointing out. Kaguya's most powerful taijutsu is called the 80 Gods Vacuum Attack. With it, she can manifest giant chakra fists, kind of like how Naruto does in his KCM forms and above, and barrage opponents with them. These fists are so powerful, they were casually matching and even casually beat Naruto's chakra fists in his Rikudo form. Do keep in mind that Naruto, while in base and using 6 Paths chakra, was able to punch Madara so hard that the reduced force of his punch, because Madara blocked it, was able to crack the base of the Shinju, and he never made direct contact with the tree, keep that in mind. Not to mention, she also casually shattered Sasuke's perfect Susanoo with a single strike too. Kaguya also has an instant kill move called All-Killing Ash Bones. With this, believe it or not, she can utilize her bone structure and use it as a weapon similar to Kimimoto's Kekkei, it's probably a parent of that. She can either simply use the bones coming from her hands to stab targets, or she can alternatively shoot them to kill opponents from a distance. By using this technique along with her Yomotsu Hirasaka, she is able to shoot the bones from many different angles using the rifts, leaving her opponents in disarray and keeping them on their toes. Naruto was able to just barely dodge this technique, which is interesting because with less effort and less indication, he was able to dodge a beam of light no problem compared to this. This would lead anybody to logically say that the all-killing ash bones can travel at faster than light speeds, and due to the fact that whoever they hit will instantly turn to ashes, is a very deadly technique. There are smaller jutsu she possesses, like her hair binding and hair needle techniques, the latter of which can hit chakra points thanks to her use of the Byakugan. But other than that, only one big-time technique really matters. It is, as you've probably been anticipating, the expansive truth-seeking ball. Exactly how powerful is this technique? What tier is Kaguya in because of it? The answer might surprise you. The first thing we need to understand is how it works. What the expansive truth-seeking orb does is, well, expand. Kaguya can manifest one out of nothing, and it will continually expand until it completely erases one of her dimensions. Note, it is not an ETSB exclusive ability to erase matter. Normal Gudodama can do it too, not only chakra like some people say. Now, how large are Kaguya's dimensions? This is important because this will be the deciding factor in how large her expansive Gudodama can get, solidifying her DC. Most people will claim that it only holds a planet, but if I told you it was much, much more than that. One thing that I've noticed, some of you may have noticed too, is that her lava and ice dimensions appear to somewhat mirror each other. The reason I say this is because they both share a similar looking palace, which is located on a high point in each dimension. Now, these dimensions cannot be geographically identical due to their climates, that would just be impossible. But these similarities are worth noting. Another thing worth pointing out is that she is implied to have created at least some of the dimensions herself. We've seen throughout the fight. So, them being somewhat mirrors of each other is all the more plausible. Another thing that I must stress, because a lot of people try to deny it, is that at least two of her dimensions have a star in them. The desert dimension Sasuke was trapped in was, well, it was a hot desert during the day. Deserts are cold at night. Now, some people would like to argue that since it's an alternate dimension, it has no specific sort of light. It's just the sky is white, and it's not really a planet or anything. Whatever. While that would bring up many questions, one of which being, why would it still be hot if there was no heat from a star and it was just random light source? That's whatever. There's still more proof against that. Her ice dimension clearly has a star, and frankly, one is all we need, since already established that her dimensions somewhat mirror each other. So when Kaguya brought Naruto and Sasuke to the ice dimension, it is day out. Much later, when Sasuke is fighting Kinshiki in the same world at the palace, it's nighttime. And there is a full moon out, and for those of you who may not know, a full moon can only appear when the light of the sun reflects off the surface of the moon and we see it. So that is pretty much an indisputable fact that our dimensions have stars in them, or else wouldn't have a day-night cycle. And since the planets that reside in the dimensions should all resemble Earth in size, the stars must be around the size and distance our sun is in real life. So, we know for certain that her dimensions contain an Earth-sized planet, roughly, and a sun. And since the sun is part of the dimension, she would have been able to destroy it in order to successfully use the expansive Gudodama. That means that, believe it or not, Kaguya is at least star level with the expansive Gudodama. Now, this is a bit of a stretch, and I'm not saying I agree with this, but she could potentially be further beyond. Since the Gudodama is a sphere, expanding it would do so in all directions equally. If it can reach the sun on one end, it would have to travel an equal distance from the other end, and every other direction from the center. Here's a diagram of the distance between all major celestial bodies in our solar system. It's somewhat to scale. Even if we mega lowball and say the dimensions only contain half the sun up to the core, which wouldn't make any sense, The other side of the sphere would still pass Jupiter and even get really close to Saturn's rings. Since if we use a little logic and know that the entire sun would have to be in her dimensions, the distance would double, roughly, and it would reach past Saturn and even get close to Uranus. Yes, I'm saying it so no one makes butt jokes. That is the majority of our solar system. Now, for those of you who do not know, most solar systems discovered by man only have one planet revolving around a sun in them, or a star, excuse me. So on a technicality, we can say that Kaguya is solar system level since she can destroy other solar systems. However, I myself won't be using that often because solar system level typically implies that they can bust our solar system, not solar systems in general. However, this is more than enough to say that Kaguya is star level plus, no question. And that's about it. Sorry if this video felt a little bland. This is a pretty new type of video for me. And as I said before, Kaguya is pretty boring, but her skill set is rather varied and overpowered in many regards. Thank you all for watching this video. Hopefully you learned a thing or two, or maybe you knew everything I said in this video already. In that case, kudos to you. If you enjoyed, you know exactly where you should stick that thumb. If you want to see more of this, check out my channel, and if you're consistently entertained or interested in the content that I put up, maybe you can do that, subscribe to be notified. I hear that the little bell thingy is imperative these days. Don't worry though, I'm not a very frequent uploader, I'm very busy, so if you do miss something, there won't be a whole lot for you to catch up on. Next video will be Dragon Ball Super related, though I'm not sure which one to do, so maybe you guys can help me again, because this, I kind of like the idea. So down below you can vote for either 2 base theory, redo, redux, whatever, where I prove once and for all that 2 base forms do exist in Dragon Ball Super anime for Goku and Vegeta, obviously. Or vote for the Dragon Ball Super manga over the anime in terms of canon. These titles are not final, by the way. Where I make my case for why the manga is still the primary canon in the Dragon Ball series with Dragon Ball Super. However, depending on the contents of Chapter 25 of the DBS manga whenever it comes out in a week or two, the votes may be held until after I do a video covering whatever comes out there, depending on how much it covers. If it finishes the Future Trunks arc, then I'll probably do that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you later. That's it. Bye.